So, if you don't trust yourself anymore, it's not because you failed. It's because something or a situation didn't turn out the way you planned, and you blame yourself instead of the situation, or instead of looking at it at a way that maybe that wasn't supposed to work out for you. So your self-trust, it doesn't break in one moment. It's not one situation that destroys it. What happens, it slowly erodes over time. So you start to second guess yourself on the decisions you're making. You also start replaying the decisions you've made in your mind. But one of the worst things you start to do is you start to tell yourself that you should have known better, that you should have made a different decision. And what starts to happen is you stop trusting yourself slowly and you stop listening to yourself eventually. Here's a huge difference that people actually miss and they don't realize. So, wisdom actually teaches you. So you learn from different things when you come from a place of, having wisdom. Shame punishes you. So when you start to second guess or regret decisions, that punishment is coming from shame. It's not coming from wisdom. So eventually you start to think that every single mistake you make is coming from a place of shame, coming from a place of punishment. And you start to fear making decisions at this point. And you have to understand that fear is not discernment. You will never become the person that can trust yourself again if you fear every decision you make. So now you're super dependent on other people's opinion or on what someone else will think because you don't have the confidence or the trust in yourself anymore. Here's a huge trap that women fall into after a huge loss, a huge change in their life. It's the overcorrection trap. So after a disappointment, they start to fall into the phase of not wanting to take risks because they're afraid of what's going to happen. They don't want to make any big decisions because they are afraid the decision they're going to make is going to cause some sort of failure. But they also consistently wait or constantly wait on the right time or for certainty, which actually never comes. The right time never comes. We create the right moment. But the overcorrecting trap makes you feel like you can't take the risk anymore because of the past disappointment and that you have to wait for the perfect time for everything to make sense. And doing this doesn't actually rebuild your trust with yourself. What it actually does, it freezes it. So you don't even see that you stopped really trusting that inner person because you start to focus more on the outside things, on the certainty that it's supposed to be there before you make that decision. When in reality, we create that certainty from making those decisions. So how do we start to rebuild our self-trust again? Now, we have to understand that self-trust is rebuilt through small, consistent actions. So, for example, you have to start keeping those promises you made to yourself, whether that's making the bed, going to the gym, eating healthy. You have to start doing that consistently. You also have to start listening to your intuition, even when it's faint. Because you have to understand, in the moment of not trusting yourself anymore, your intuition isn't as loud as it used to be. So you have to start following it with that blind faith to start trusting yourself again. But most importantly, you have to follow through with things even when no one's watching, because that's when it means the most, right? Because you're not doing it for somebody else's approval. You're not doing it so someone can see you. You're doing it for yourself. So you have to start following through with things when no one's watching, because self-trust isn't built through perfection. It's actually built through evidence. Remember, ladies, the goal is not to never make another wrong choice. The goal is to understand that you can emotionally and physically support yourself through any outcome based on your decision, because that is where the real self-trust comes from, is understanding that the only person that has your back 100% of the time is you. Don't worry, you didn't betray yourself. You actually did the best you could with what you knew at the time. But now you know more, you're smarter, and you're going to do more because you know more. So if you're in the season of rebuilding your trust, hit that subscribe button, because this channel is for the women who are rebuilding themselves intentionally. But again, ladies, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.